So nowadays you need a picture of the key, then you print the key and then you open the lock.
Welcome to Architecture Corner. Jesper, we are now standing at an old fortress. It was built to protect the Danish from the Swedes, but today it's Sweden. Is it a good example of where we think we are secure, but we were not?
It's a perfect example on old style security and old ways of managing security. There are so many solutions out today that's supposed to make you secure, that's not protecting against the vulnerabilities that are out today. Take for example network segmentation. You start to segment your network, so you have the DMZ, you have the internal network, you have the data storage, you have the applications and so forth. And you divide it into different types of applications, and you have a network structure of 90 zones, 100 zones or something. And the interesting part that many don't check their applications for vulnerabilities. So they still allow the applications to talk through the firewalls with the vulnerabilities. So for me as a hacker, the firewalls isn't the hurdle anymore. I just jump through from application to application to application using SQL injections or cross-site scripting or whatever is needed to get past the firewalls. But the firewalls in itself creates a hurdle for the administration. Implementing a new application with integrations with 3-4 others could take about a month just opening the firewalls.
So it's like the old towns where we have a large wall around, but if you came inside the walls, then there was no protection at all. And Troy is a good example.
Troy is a very good example on that one. But I'll give you an even better example. This type of protection we have here, an old fortress, works very well during that time. But then things change. And if there were a panzer coming today, it would break through just in a matter of minutes. And that's a normal thing that's happened. Take for example locks. Key and lock. The thing that works there is to be able to open the lock you need a key. Or possibly a lockpick, but normally it's a key. And that was true until about 2010. Then something new arrived, the 3D printer. So nowadays you need a picture of the key, then you print the key and then you open the lock.
So it's about technology advances make the old security not secure. But you think it's secure, so you're living in a dream world.
And that's sadly very, very common. And when I'm out doing penetration testing or we are doing just vulnerability assessment of different kinds, even security architecture or just policy management, we normally find those problems where they think they have good security. One interesting example is password. There are so many times when I see a policy that says the password should be at least 8 characters. And why should it be 8 characters? And that's a quite interesting topic. Looking back in the old time, 1995, we have an operating system named Windows 3.51. And that was had a backwards compatibility with something called LAN Manager. And LAN Manager stored the password in groups of 7 characters. So if you have a password with 8 characters, you have 2 hash sums that needs to be broken instead of just 1. And that's the reason why you have 8 characters. That was 20 years ago.
And I know that some old mainframe system that I used a few years ago, they couldn't have longer passwords than 8 characters either.
I was out to the client a few years back, and I was supposed to enter the time reporting system. And I created the passwords I normally use, 20, 25 characters something, and the application crashed. So I thought, well, that's a temporary problem, and I called the help desk, they restarted the application, and I tried to create my user again with my password, and it crashed. And it turns out, every time you have a password longer than 12 characters, it crashed.
Yeah. You're a frequent flyer. What do you think about the security at the airport? Is that also a type of security where they give the impression of that it's secure, but in reality it could be very questionable?
it very much could be very questionable. We're looking at what actually helped security from a terrorist point of view, I have to say. It's mainly that you have locked the doors to the cockpit, and the passengers nowadays know that if they don't do anything about the terrorists on board, they will all die.
Yeah.
So that were two actions that actually create security. Looking, for example, at the when you're supposed to get through the security checkpoint, you have to show your boarding pass. There are apps out nowadays that would create a boarding pass, so you actually could be allowed to get into the area with all the shops and all of that. And the reason for the boarding pass is actually not about security, even though it's pictured as security. It's about a legal requirement to not allow people not flying to purchase things in the tax-free shops.
Yeah, and if I want to go that, I can take a full refundable ticket, check in, and go back before the flight goes. So I can pass that security.
Mm-hmm. So it's quite easy. So it's not about security, but it's perceived as security.
Yeah.
You had the same thing a few years back with a lot of with the Tor network, that people thought encrypted the traffic, not only anonymized it. So there were a lot of diplomats that logged in to get their mail through the Tor network, so making sure that there was a secure way of getting their mails. So what one guy did was to put up 2 Tor nodes and then just monitor the traffic.
Yeah.
And got access to a lot of mails from the diplomats.
And it was not a real...
No, it was only anonymization of encryption. And you have quite an interesting example of what hard drive encryption. The interesting one, when do hard drive encryption actually works?
Does it work?
Well, it does work, but only when the computer is offline, when it's turned off. Otherwise, you actually could access all the information. So, it's actually the right way to implement hard drive encryption on a file server that's up and running 24/7.
How do you do with mobile devices that are up and running?
No, you normally don't shut down your phone, but when it comes to mobile devices, you have the thing called physical control of the device. Of course, it could be stolen. But I would say if you don't have any mobile device management on your corporate phones, you're not taking security serious at all. It's like putting all the information you have and putting on Pirate Bay.
But that could be a good thing.
That could be a good thing. I actually devised an architecture just for fun that creates that type of security on the information level. That actually could put all your company assets on Pirate Bay. Everyone could download it, but only you could access it.
And it should be a higher availability than most other companies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pirate Bay have shown to be very available all the time.
Thank you very much, and I think this is a topic we can discuss further. Security is always relevant, and if I understand right, the knowledge about what real security is and what you think security is very different.
Absolutely. It's all about understanding security architecture.
Thank you very much, and we'll see how long this fort will stand.
Thank you.